fast as a speeding bullet, leaping waves at a single bound. It's a porpoise. It's a fighting, flying blue marlin. Half bird, half fish. It's the elco PT boat with enough dynamite to blow up a battleship and the speed to get away if the first KO punch misses. They didn't happen as a little naval accident. MacArthur asked for 200 of them back in 1937 to defend the Philippines. He didn't get them because they weren't in existence, even on paper, at that time. But when in '39, Henry R. Sutphen, Executive Vice President of elco, was approached by Secretary of the Navy Charles Edison, he went to work. He remembered several hundred motor launches built by elco for World War I. This was another day. They'd have to be new and better, the best. In 1940, the first squadron of PTs, numbered 10 to 17, was running deep sea tests for the Navy. Between Cuba and Florida, they hit the tail end of a hurricane, took a beating, and stood up. Not one of these 70-footers was lost. The Navy asked for more of these seaworthy midget sluggers, and the British wanted some too. The need for heavier armament brought out our 77-foot PT, and this was the first to see action in the Pacific. One man, Irwin Chase, managing constructor of elco, was the clearinghouse for all new ideas. For 40 years, a designer of small boats, both wars found him immersed in his specialty. The additional burden of combat specifications he took in stride. But before an idea can be embodied, it must have shape on paper, dimensions and minute fractions of an inch, proportions from every angle and description of material. Every single part must fit. The drafting room workers spent thousands of man-hours on blueprints of everything from an 80-foot keel to a quart-inch washer. They had the answers before a saw touched wood or a lathe turned metal. When the ideas had boiled down to a unit, this 80-footer was the PT giant killer that went to Guadalcanal, the Aleutians, Panama, Africa, Sicily, and the Channel Port. There were hundreds and hundreds more of them. How did they all get built? We know the men who fought in them: Copley, Kelly, Cox, the Expendables. But who made them? Where did they come from? Over the Bayonne, New Jersey plant of the Electric Boat Company, elco, the E flag presented by the United States government for excellence in war production has never been absent. 6 times it has been given for ever-increasing efficiency. The people come to work. Coveralls are supplied by the company and company washed whenever soiled. No work-stained wretches leave the plant at the end of a shift at elco. They can go straight to a movie if they've a mind. There are 19 buildings comprising the elco plant, big ones housing several departments and smaller ones containing a single operation. Some are as new as this war. Others antedate the First World War. Concrete roadways provide passage for heavy material on boats and wheels. An enormous boat launching crane stands by the dock. Long pipes fitted with blowers and worm drives form the sawdust trail. From every woodworking department, they carry highly inflammable sawdust and shavings to the incinerator to lessen the... This is a ship-shape factory. No piles of dust on the floors, no rubbish in the corners. There's a lot of stuff to be moved from building to building. The elco locomotive, nicknamed Shifty, handles large items routed by rail over a system no bigger than an amusement park's miniature railroad. A train of torpedo tubes is on its way to storage. There they pile up until installation on nearly completed boats. Dummy torpedoes are used for size and weight, for you have to know what every PT will do with a full load. But many of the hundreds of thousands of pieces that go into a single boat are moved like this on small hand trucks. Fill 'em and roll 'em. There's more where they came from, more is needed where they go. In the storeroom, literally millions of parts are waiting. Aluminum bronze propellers are taken in threes, 3 to a boat. Every part must be inspected for the perfection demanded by the utmost in dependability. Exhaust pipes are racked, waiting for installation. bronze struts to hold propeller shafts. It's a wooden boat, mahogany from Africa and Honduras, white oak from Jersey, Brazilian balsa, maple, fir, Burmese teak, West Coast cedar, Wisconsin birch, Alaska and Canadian spruce, ash, poplar, and heavy greenheart from the Guiana. A machine sizes and paints the strips of mahogany in a single operation. And the hand of the woodworking craftsman puts them to work. Hard mahogany from the Gold Coast of Africa is laminated with a phenolic resin glue process. Mahogany that won't split under the pounding of the sea. They shape the frames that will become the boat's ribs in a mold of standard form. When it's all tightly locked together, they carry mold and frame to the baking oven. New gluing techniques, able to withstand salt air and water, represent a great advance in the building of wooden boats. Glued members are actually much stronger than the original wood. When wood and glue have been baked at a temperature of 140 degrees, they are bound together as strongly as if they were welded steel. The frame will stay in the oven for 2 hours until the glue is as hard as the mahogany. Afterwards, the frame is sawed in two, making identical pieces. At this point, the many laminations can be seen easily. Planing rollers smooth the surfaces and bring the width down to the precise specification. The girders, intended to carry tons of engine weight and fuel supply deep in the boat, are made differently. Each has 2 layers of hollowed mahogany, plywood between, and a plywood cover on either side. This makes for maximum strength with the least possible weight. Glue binds it under pressure. No heat is necessary. After staying in the press 14 hours, it's brought out. Rough edges where the glue hardened after being squeezed out are trimmed and smooth. Wood and glue are made one in a single hard surface. Its measurements are as exact as those of bolt and nut. When lowered to the bilge of a PT, it will fit without additional planing. The surfaces are sanded. And finally, it's peppered with rivets binding tight from either side. Another inspection follows as a matter of course. No chances can be taken. When these and a few hundred other primary constructions have been completed, they are brought to the boat assembly floor in number 21 building. 20 boats in various stages of completion, 4 and 6 abreast, move gradually toward the far exit. Men and women swarm over and into them, nailing, tapping, riveting, gluing, fitting, and painting. Carefully efficient methods and an infinite number of special skills carry the work forward. Parts which have been constructed elsewhere are now being brought together for final assembly. A screeve board is used in the fabrication of frames. Each form fits into its assigned place. When bolted together on the board, they are in the...
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate, of the House of Representatives, yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific.